How do you deal with negative feedback when you receive it? I'm Dr. David Maslach, and I created the online peer proofreading and editing platform reciprocity.com, where you can go and get credits if you want some peer proofreading. Um, but I wanted to talk to you today about how do you deal with negative feedback. And essentially, all feedback that you receive is negative, even if it's constructive. It tends to be on the negative side. So I wanted to talk to you about the particular experience that I had or had recently when I submitted a paper to a journal. So I'm a professor at a large research institute, and in Florida, and I study innovation. And I submitted a paper to a journal, and it was rejected actually pretty quickly, which I greatly appreciated, and I got excellent feedback. The feedback, of course, is negative, and I didn't know how to deal with that. So the first thing that I do when I get negative feedback, because I kind of digest it as much as possible, you go through those negative emotions where you react, but once you do that, once you get over those initial negative emotions, what you should do is try to embrace what they're saying and think about what they're actually trying to get you to think about, right? That get into their mindset as a reader of the particular paper or essay that you're working on, and sort of dive into where their insecurities are and what's actually going on behind the scenes. So what I did is I took this feedback, I digested this feedback as much as possible and really thought about it, and then I started reading. It was having to do with particular methods that I was using, and sort of misclassification of methods that I was using, so I had to go look deeper into the literature about these methods. And it actually was a really fun exercise for me to get into this literature. Of course, it's kind of this meandering pursuit of when you're doing research at that point, where you're just kind of browsing the literature and trying to read as much as possible. But I stumbled across a really cool and interesting book, which I have never seen before. It was by Glass et al., and they were talking about time series experiments. And so what is a time series experiment? That is where you look at sort of natural breaks in data, and you look to see at how you can design or create a situation where you can almost replicate an experiment using this archival data. And that's what I was really taken into. I saw some really fascinating ideas in this literature, or particularly within that book. It was very useful. I'd highly recommend for anybody that's a researcher that's in this area or thinking about archival data research, going into I would take it as, and for those of you who have done this kind of stuff, I would take it as sort of an advanced version of Cook and Campbell. That it takes it one step further and digs a lot deeper into understanding what are different interventions, and how to look at different interventions, how do you sort of classify the different experiments. It was just really fascinating. But coming back to this feedback idea, what I discovered was definitely I was the editor or the reviewer was correct. I was misclassifying what I was doing, but it strengthened by looking at this literature. I was able to find out a sort of better match and a better classification of what I was doing that actually appeared to be a lot more stronger than what I was doing or what I was saying I was doing in the previous version. So then what I did is I developed a response to those critiques, right? So you go in and you start digging into that literature, and you start building a strong case about why what you're doing is better. It's different, of course, why it's different, and perhaps it's better or worse than the critique that they were suggesting. And you try to really dig down deep into that. And then once you have your mind wrapped around those particular reviews, you are in a point of strength at that moment, because you have pivoted. What you have done is use this critique as a pivot to strengthen your essay or your paper or something like that. Right? So those critiques are really incredibly important because it adds richness to what you're doing. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to come up with not only just that I was using this methodology, but then I was also able to come up with very strong rationale of why I was using this particular methodology and why was it different than something else that was used in the literature or other people have used in the past. So it's a really strong way to address those critiques that you get. It's just digging deep into it and unfolding not only the reaction that you're getting from the reviewers and the sort of immediate responses that you get, but then also digging deep into what they're actually trying to get you to think about and where you can actually go from there. I actually find it extremely useful to get this feedback because it allows you to keep going and sort of push an idea and develop a particular idea. So this negative feedback is critical to pushing any particular paper that you have forward or particular report forward. And that's why I've tried to design this system as much as possible. Maybe it's, maybe it's going to help out other people around the world when they use reciprocity, that they'll be able to get some of this feedback and encourage incentives for people to actually provide feedback and good feedback. So that's what I was thinking about that, because I've learned so much from this feedback from others, and particularly the negative feedback from others. So that's it. I wanted to detail how you deal with negative feedback, and it's really sort of coming back to a position of strength, really thinking about what they're suggesting and not just kind of waving it off, but coming back and developing a critical argument relative to what they're suggesting, and then using what they're saying as a pivot point and leveraging what they're saying. So that's it today. If you want to check out the book I recommended, I'll put that in the notes. And that's it for today, and have a good day. Bye.